Who's got the keys?
Good afternoon and welcome to Gig Lane for the climax to a tremendous season of Northern Ford Premiership Rugby League. Over the last 7 months, 26 clubs have been fighting for the right to be here this afternoon. Now it's all down to the last two. It's the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final, Dewsbury Rams against Leigh Centurions. Hello, it's Yorkshire against Lancashire, and Lancashire is the venue, but we're well balanced here in the studio. Featherstone coach Peter Rowe and Widnes coach David Hume have dodged the rain to join us here at Gig Lane. Welcome, gents. Peter, what can we expect this afternoon?
It's a game I think has got many key ingredients to provide us with a classic. Probably the best two teams in the division are here in the final today on merit, and I think the competitive nature of both sides makes the game very difficult to predict.
David, what we need is a spectacle to match the occasion, the showpiece of Northern Ford Premiership this season.
I think so. I think both these teams will provide that, because I think both teams have been the most consistent side this year. Obviously in Dewsbury's case they've been consistent for the last 2 seasons, so I think both teams have come here on merit and I think they fully deserve it, and I'm sure we're going to get an exciting game. OK, well the form guide is a tricky one. We're giving you a team each to look out for us. Peter first, you've been looking at Dewsbury. Who's their key man this afternoon?
Well, for me it's got to be number 7 Barry Eaton, the talisman of the Dewsbury side. Player that's been involved with Dewsbury for the last 4 or 5 seasons. The players around him know the way he plays. They interact very well. There'll be some very good little players on today, and I'm sure Barry Eaton will come out of this game being a key player within the match.
He's their leading point scorer, as you say, for the last 3 seasons. Well, David, you've been looking at Leigh. Who should we watch out for this afternoon?
I think Leigh got a number of good players, but I think the one that stands out for me is Paul Anderson. Paul is originally a back rower. He's now operating in the centre. He's big and he's strong, and he's causing a lot of problems for opposition sides. He's also got Super League experience with Sheffield and St Helens, so I think he's going to be a main asset. I think he can inspire the players around him, and if he has a good game, I think Leigh will have a good game.
Right, well, we're getting close to kick-off. The coaches have conveyed their instructions to their players. They've also conveyed their thoughts to us. Let's hear from them.
You know, the build-up for a grand final, there are a lot of things outside that you've got no control of. So, you know, the players have just got to go with the flow and as I said, enjoy the day and enjoy the experience and everything that's around it. And when that whistle blows, the mind clicks in.
We've just sort of played everything down. The players know it's a big game and they don't need us to keep diving that into them. So we've just had a very relaxed build-up, not really talked that much about the game. And because what you know is the players are aware of it, it's at the back of their minds and they'll make their own preparations.
Well, they're trying to stay relaxed, but the tension here is now starting to mount at Gig Lane. We're just minutes away from kick-off. The form guide is a tricky one, isn't it, gents? Because Dewsbury topped the Ford Premiership table, but Leigh were the only side to complete the double over them during the season, and they've beaten them on the way to this final as well. So it's so close to call, Peter.
It is, and that's the monkey that's on the Dewsbury players' shoulder, and they'll be wanting to get rid of that monkey today by winning this final. The beauty of the format of the season is it isn't the team that wins the league that's the best side, it's the team that wins on the day here today, and that ingredient in itself makes it, I think, a classic encounter.
I mean, does it give Leigh the psychological advantage at all, David, do you think, the fact that they know they can beat them?
I think Leigh come into this game with a great psychological advantage, to be honest. I mean, obviously they've won and beat them twice, but like Peter said, it's on the day itself, it's which players can actually come out and do the business when it's required. And I think both coaches there highlighted how they played the game down a little bit because the tension's here, the atmosphere's great, the crowd's here. The other factor I think from Leigh's point of view is the vocal support. They've got tremendous vocal support here in the crowd. If they start well, that can inspire them to go on to greater things. So Dewsbury, obviously, they're going to have to keep in control and just play the game well.
And the other big factor this afternoon, with all of those things going on, is the pitch. We've had a fair bit of rain, it's going to be a bit slippery, and the dimensions are key as well, Peter, aren't they?
Yeah, the pitch is quite wide, which will suit Leigh because their pitch is of a similar dimension, but actually the pitch is a little bit shorter than Leigh are normally used to playing on, so that will probably affect the kicking game that Leigh want to employ. One understated factor is the state of the pitch. It's probably the best surface that either team will have played on all season. So if they can't produce a good game today on this pitch, well, they never will do.
It could be fairly explosive as well. When they met in the playoffs on the way to this final, Leigh were down to 12 men, weren't they, after just 3 minutes? So it could be quite a physical encounter this afternoon.
I would expect, obviously, that it's going to be a tough game for both sides. It's going to be a key battle in the forwards, and like any rugby league match, it's the forwards that set the tone of the game, and I think it's not going to be any different today.
Okay, well, the teams as we see are coming out. The Gladiators are at the ready. Who's going to get the thumbs up and the thumbs down this afternoon? Peter, who's going to win?
Well, slightly Yorkshire bias, but it's not based on that. My theory is that Dewsbury will win because they are the best team in the division and they're all round a better side. So I'm going to go for Dewsbury.
And David, quickly, who are you going with?
Well, I hope Leigh wins, obviously coming from Lancashire, but my head says Dewsbury.
Okay, well, 7 months' work all comes down to the next 80 minutes or so. We will have a winner this afternoon, even if it takes extra time or even a golden point. We're ready for the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final. Let's enjoy the occasion in the company of Bradford Bulls coach Matthew Elliott. He's in our commentary team alongside John Helm.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian. Terrific atmosphere here at Gig Lane. This may well be better known as a soccer stadium, the home of Bury Football Club. It is also the home, though, of the Swinton Lions, and it really does engender some passion here. The capacity is over 11,000, and the fans have come from the two clubs here to really make themselves heard. The two sides lining up now. They will be introduced any moment now to Sir Rodney Walker, the chairman of the Rugby Football League. Matthew, I know you really enjoyed last year's final between the Hunslet Hawks and Dewsbury, and you're looking forward to this one just as much.
I certainly am, and the atmosphere at the moment is really buzzing. The hairs in the back of my neck are up, and I've got to say I envy the players and the coaches getting to perform in front of this crowd, so it should be a good day.
Well, it's only a couple of weeks ago since Leigh won at Dewsbury. I saw them beat them in a league game at the New Crown Flat earlier this season as well. But Dewsbury did beat Leigh in the Trans-Pennine final. So it's anybody's game, there's no question about that. These are the Leigh players. Anderson, the centre there, who was selected in the All-Stars team earlier this week at the Northern Ford Premiership dinner in Leeds. The redoubtable Tim Street, the prop forward, who is a real cult hero here with Leigh, his third session with the club. And there, Heath Cruikshank. There is an Australian influence, Matthew.
There's a couple of Australians out there. Daniel Frameland, who stands opposite him in the park, is also an Australian or some recruit. And there's a good mix of players and a real high concentration of talent in both teams.
It really is a family game, and it's lovely to see the youngsters out there. And I believe a member of Tim Street's family is among the mascots today. Now then, Bob McDermott, the chairman of the Dewsbury Browns, and then Neil Kelly, the coach. Nathan Graham, the captain, well known to you, a former Bradford Bull.
Yes, Nathan's an ex-fullback from Bradford, and I hope this day's a good day for him. He's had a couple of disappointments in finals, and I'd like to see him come away with a medal.
Yes, he was a loser at Wembley when Bradford Bulls lost to St Helens. Here are the Dewsbury Rams players there, and they've had a wonderful season. To finish top of the league 2 consecutive seasons, a great effort. And Barry Eaton there has broken the club's point scoring record previously held by Nigel Stevenson.
He's definitely a prolific point scorer and also fundamental to this team performing well today. You know, he runs the spine of their team, and if he can give them the direction that they need, I certainly think that'll go a long way for them, putting in a good performance.
And the referee today will be Robert Connolly, who comes from Wigan. So part of the official proceedings now gone through, the two sides having been presented. They will now line up in the traditional manner for this Northern Ford Premiership final, and we will be having the national anthem. What a noise there is here at Gig Lane. There are the Leigh Centurions fans. Leigh, a traditional rugby league stronghold, as of course is Dewsbury. So then let's have a look at the two team lineups. Continuity has been a byword at Dewsbury, so no surprise to find 11 of the 17 on duty today played a part in last year's final against Hunslet Hawks. One notable exception, right wing Richard Baker, who was actually in the Hunslet side that day. Richard Agar, who's missed a large part of the season through a medial ligament injury and a broken hand, is back in the standoff role to partner the prolific Barry Eaton. Dewsbury's bench houses the evergreen Paul Delaney and Ryan MacDonald, who alternates frequently with Shane Williams. Well, Leigh are delighted to welcome back Simon Baldwin after a one-match suspension, especially as his usual ally Phil Kendrick suffered a ligament injury in the second half of last week's semi-final triumph over Oldham. The only other change from that starting lineup sees the promotion from the subs bench of Andy Leatham, with Dave Whittle dropping into the replacements. He's joined there by Radney Bowker, a Barla tourist, Paul Norman, whose only try this season was scored against Dewsbury, and James Arkwright. The two captains are Andy Fairclough of Leigh and Nathan Graham of Dewsbury, who took on that role this year as reward for being such a loyal servant and a man that Neil Kelly knows is going to be in the lineup every week.
Yeah, Nathan's a particularly good player, and he's going to have his work cut out today because in the backfield he's going to be tested by the kicks from Purtell. Referee
Robert Connolly from Wigan, whose brother John is of course a referee too in Grade 1. Big honour this for Bob Connolly. He did take the 1997 Silk Cup plate final at Wembley. He's 40 years of age and he's been 10 years a top referee. Next year, by the way, is Dewsbury's centenary season, so what a way it would be to go into it with a trophy. Dewsbury, of course, have won the Challenge Cup on 2 occasions, a long time ago, mind you, and the Championship on 1 occasion when Richard Agar, who's playing today, his father Alan Agar, was in the side, and Alan's here today, and great to see him too. So it will be Dewsbury in the white who get us underway here at Gig Lane, Bury.
Let's look forward to some big collisions early in this game.
In the balmy weather, I think you were describing it as, Matthew. It's sunny, but we do have the odd shower. Very heavy showers too. And there's the first big collision.
Here we go.
It was almost a 4-man tackle, that. They've got some very lively players from acting half-back Leigh, Mick Hyam notably, and Kieran Purtell.
Yes, I think Donlan is well out the back as well. It gives them some great support play.
Here goes Cruikshank, this giant Australian who's made a big impact with the club. He played in a grand final in Australia for Queensland, the Crushers. Richardson goes following through there. He challenged Purtell as Purtell was putting in the kick. I think the ref sees it as okay. And from behind his own try line, Nathan Graham just scrambles over the line. And Dewsbury needed that badly.
That's a great kick chase. They've been penalised there, very unlucky. But that's a feature of big games where you need to execute that sort of play very well.
Penalty against Anderson.
By the nature of Dewsbury this game, we know that they're going to get forward up the right side to open their left side out.
I think the one thing we've seen of the Leigh Centurions in each of their games so far in the playoffs, they do follow through very quickly on their kicks. And we've referred in the build-up to the size of the pitch here at Gig Lane. It's very wide, maybe not very long. Richards has made good ground there under pressure from his opposite number, Cruikshank.
There's Daniel Frame's made a lovely bust if he looks inside.
And he's got support inside as well, and this might just be the first score of the day. It goes to the Dewsbury Rams! Barry Eaton! And that's a record. Over he goes, the man who just cannot stop scoring points.
Well, again, they've attacked down their right side. It made a liar out of me, and Daniel Frame's ducked under a high tackle. And if you just stop it right there, you see that those two players, he's ducked under him, and he's got some great support play from the inside, and a flutter white jersey's following through. So if you go back there, the two players a little overzealous. These two players right here, as they come into frame, as you see, you roll it forward. If you roll it forward now, you'll see that they've gone high on Daniel Frame. He's ducked under them, kept his feet, and found some great support play from Barry Eaton up the inside.
Well, it was Barry Eaton all the way, and he scores for the 50th consecutive match for the Dewsbury Rams, and he has also become only the 25th player in rugby league history to score in every match in a season. He's gone on to 390 points for the season with his 15th try, and Eaton very much the man of the moment for the Dewsbury Rams after that break from frame. And here he gets to convert his own try. It's 6 points on the board for the Dewsbury Rams and 6 more points for the amazing Barry Eaton.
The challenge for Dewsbury now is to continue to play. In these big games, you can tend to get conservative when you get in front because you're focused on the result, not the performance. It's very early in the game, and it'll be interesting to see how Leigh responds.
Shane Williams, huge figure of a man, Williams. He's a one-club man as well, 9 years at Dewsbury. What a bright start it is from the Rams, and Dan Potter now. And they're spreading Leigh as well, and there might just be a gap appearing on the left here, though Brendan O'Meara has held this time. I thought he might have got Flynn moving. Nathan Graham, acting halfback, gets it away from Mark Haig, who's in his testimonial season. 10 years loyal service. The kick is from Agar. Might not be one of his better ones.
It's a longer kick, but again, early in this half, we've seen O'Meara and Richardson team up together on their left side and ask some questions of the short defence that Leigh play.
Tim Street for Leigh. He will always lead them forward. And Leigh up to the 40-metre mark. But only after 2 tackles, so they'll continue to move the ball along the line. Anderson, who was nominated in the Northern Ford Premiership All-Stars team earlier in the week. Cruikshank gets the ball away, and then it's kept moving by Hyam and by Purtill, but not by the loose forward Bristow, who couldn't just take it.
Looking a little nervous early in the game, Leigh.
Certainly not the start that their coach Paul Turzis will have been looking for. And we saw just how passionate he is on Rugby League Raw the other night during the game. Perhaps they're not following his 10 commandments at the moment.
Well, they're certainly not getting 9 of them right.
Richardson's got play inside that Leigh half once more. Oh, tremendous running from Flynn, who's just back after a jaw injury. It's clearly not affected his confidence. Nathan Graham spoons it along the line for Damien Ball, a try scorer in last year's final ball. They'll have options again here from acting halfback. It's to the right they go. First of all with Eaton, then with Agar. And Leigh are really hanging on for the moment. Dewsbury showing why they were the number 1 side in the league table. Richardson. Scored against Featherstone, Richardson. It might be a drop goal here. It should be a simple point. Has it made it? No, it hasn't.
Hasn't made it. Leigh certainly have to get their defensive line moving forward. Their shape's nice, but they're not going forward and putting any pressure under the Dewsbury ball carriers.
Plenty of time. Really should have done better than that.
Yeah, probably too much time.
Oh, that's an absolute shocker of a pass to give out.
That's the second occasion they've passed to nobody, and if you have a look at them, they're looking at each other instead of looking at where they need to go here.
That can only be nerves, can't it, Matthew?
Well, when you saw them play their last 2 performances, they're very, very slick, so they might need to revert back to just getting forward and get to the end of a couple of sets.
Baldwin held. can be such an influential player, Simon Baldwin. It's coming over to Anderson now. He's a very lithe runner, Anderson. Takes some holding as well in the two-man tackle here.
Again, the pass has found the wrong player and Cruikshank has to kick, but the chase is very good indeed.
Oh my word, Nathan Graham was caught there in a very high tackle by Baldwin, the man who's only just come back after a disciplinary hearing. I think it was one of those that may have looked worse than it was.
Yeah, he just lost his feet, but it certainly rattled some bones.
Plenty of passion, plenty of fire in the opening minutes of this game, just as we expected. Look for some fire now from Williams. Dewsbury getting through their six is much better. Flynn in particular has an appetite for work.
And Leigh at the moment are only just hanging on. They just need to keep their composure and try and dominate some possession.
He did the right thing there, Alan Cross, because it was a nice little kick from Barry Eaton, and Dewsbury have the reputation of being one of the best kicking games in the league.
Well, certainly getting it on the back of some great go forward, and at the moment it's all Dewsbury.
Got a long way to go. Only 9 minutes played. Dewsbury leads 6-0.
A feature of how Leigh normally plays is they work over a defensive player on a side. Now, I haven't been able to pick out who it is this game. Maybe it is their right side defender over there.
I certainly need a little bit of inspiration from somebody. There goes that lively hooker, Mick Hyam. 20 tries he's got this season. He's only 19 years of age, and I am told that 1 or 2 Super League sides have had a look at Mick Hyam.
Understandably, he's a very, very talented kid. Caught Dewsbury offside, and this may be the break that Leigh need just to get some composure and some offensive momentum.
Kieran Purtill, a good Leigh name. His brother Dean used to play for the club. Has put that one into touch, and it is Hyam to Street.
Clear wall, clear. 3-10. Get the hands out. That's good. That's good.
The front forward, he might make it all the way, Andy Leatham. He's held 5 metres short. It's got to come right. Through Bristow. Who got the 3rd try in last week's victory over Oldham. They've set themselves up a very good position here. Oh, until the ball is put to ground by Cruikshank.
Another real poor fumble there after getting a great start. And I'm starting to come believe that it might be Richard Agar that they're going at. Tim Street, or Leatham, sorry, went straight over the top of him and set them up for a real try-scoring opportunity. And they've spilt the ball again.
Well, sometimes sides do take a while to settle in finals, and it's Leigh who are taking time to settle at the moment.
They need to be careful. They might end up 12 points behind or 18 points behind by the time they have.
O'Meara, former Illawarra's player, and of course the coach of Leigh, Paul Terzic, came from Illawarra. Eaton, Agar, the ball inside Richardson. Again Eaton with that angle kick, and it's one for Ingram to chase back onto. David Ingram, a stalwart for Leigh. Held on the 20-metre line. And Anderson gets past one, but not past the second, who is O'Meara.
There's not a lot of volunteers out there in red shirts at the moment. They took a long time to get behind the ball and get themselves set up to go forward.
And Dewsbury are up much quicker. Tim Street. Wonderful character in the rugby league game. He's 32 years of age now.
Leigh needs someone to come up with a big play for them.
Maybe the fullback Donlan. The high kick. Nasty one for Flynn to be under. Takes it well and tries to get around his man. Well, that was an excellent take from Flynn. Another who scored last season in the final.
Goodness me, he certainly scared his coach by flirting with that sideline though.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, sometimes they say.
Inside your 20-metre line, I'd rather gain than venture.
Williams barges through one. Good play from the prop forward.
You wouldn't actually call him an athlete, but he's a handful, that's for sure.
He's a workhorse, isn't he? Whoops, that was a dodgy ball out to Baker.
Again, I think the coach would be a little disappointed with that, the decision to go there. They've done really well getting forward.
Eaton had no option but to kick there, and kick he does straight into the hands of Donlan. Now he's a tremendous runner, a real thoroughbred, this boy, when he gets into space.
He certainly is, and this is Leigh's best offensive start as far as live ball goes.
Ingram. Anderson, he can have a tilt from here, but straight away he had no support and he was staring 3 white shirts in the eye.
Nowhere to go up that blind alley.
Heath Cruikshank, only just back from injury himself, and I know that Dewsbury feel that they might be able to play on the lack of match experience in the recent weeks of Baldwin and Cruikshank in the second row. Donlan is caught, scragged almost, and the ball went to ground there, spotted by referee Connolly.
It's a great forced error there by Dewsbury. And again, at the moment, the Leigh players are standing around looking at each other, and they've got one option on every play, not 4, which is a characteristic of the way that they normally play.
Just worth me pointing out, by the way, that if the scores are level after 80 minutes, we do have extra time with 2 periods of 10 minutes. If the scores are still level, we go for a golden point. Dewsbury are hoping that doesn't happen as the ball is switched to Flynn. They want to win in normal 80-minute time. Hello, bit of bother here. Flynn, well, didn't develop really, but Flynn and Liam Brotherton not the best of pals at the moment. Eaton now, Dewsbury will try to spread it along the line and look for a gap. It'll be back inside for Baker, who's an elusive runner, not the biggest of men.
But Dewsbury again asking questions of the edge of the Leigh defence.
Oh, a little bit high, but it didn't really connect with Williams. This is a kick that will be dealt with by Donlan. Did well in the end.
Yeah, we've got the second row of Daniel Frame kicking there, and it was a nice weighted kick. And if you just again have a look at the Leigh players getting back behind the ball, very, very slow to recover.
Street.
That's a great carry. You can get a quick play of the ball. They're just not dominating the ruck area. And if you have a look at the speed of the Dewsbury play the ball compared to the Leigh play the ball as they go for 40-20.
That looks a very useful kick. Oh, it's just turned the other way. That's why they shape the rugby ball like that. You never know. Here goes Nathan Graham.
Shane Warren would have been pleased with the amount of turn that he got on that.
The way Shane Warne's going at the moment, he might be playing this game from the look of it.
As long as you're not getting telephone calls from him.
Here they go again, the Dewsbury Rams and Ball. What an enterprising player he is, Damien Ball.
Again, a quick play of the ball for the Dewsbury team. They're just beating them off the floor all the time in both disciplines.
It's a good game in perfect conditions at the moment, and all credit to the groundsman Michael Curtis for preparing a surface like this. It's beautiful. Barry have done a great job of stage managing this match. Huge punt, Ingram underneath it, makes the catch.
Nice catch under plenty of pressure. He had the sun in his eyes there as well.
People tend to forget the skill factor in this game sometimes. They look at the brute force, but that was great skill there from Ingram.
And Leigh searching for a way to get some momentum in their attack. Oh dear. Richardson's down there with an injury.
Here's the kick from Purtill.
Give him 10, give him 10.
And it's not going to go dead.
It's a lovely kick.
Yeah, they had to give him 10 metres. Oh, he's running out superbly well.
Another thing that Leigh do exceptionally well is they can hold a team in this part of the field and they can set up their offence in the opposition's territory.
Lively burst from O'Meara. Well, the early phases of a game are always important for setting the tone.
There's Richardson obviously recovered from the injury that he had.
Flynn.
40-20 attempt. Now he's come out of that area.
Give him 10. Give him 10.
Bit of a grubber kick from Eaton in the end.
Give him 10.
But nice depth on that kick.
The players responding well to referee Bob Conley, who was urging them there to give him 10 metres, and they got nowhere near. No question ever of being offside.
He's having a good game at the moment. He's not intervening much and letting them play. When Leigh decide to carry the ball into that tight area at the back of the ruck, they are troubling the Dewsbury defence.
Street held, he's not been able to make much ground as yet in this match, and here's one that they look to now. Pertill with a high up and under again. A terrible ball for Baker, this one. Leigh might get on the score sheet here. Baker scrambles onto it, and Dewsbury hanging on to these high kicks. Exceptional work.
Again, Leigh are looking for a play to go their way, and I just think that they've started to move back into this game now.
Yes, those early nerves have disappeared.
I'm sure their coach, though, will be very concerned at the speed that Dewsbury continue to get to play the ball.
Second row, Daniel Frame, another of the Australians. He's got an English mum and an Australian dad. And from Brisbane.
You give him 10.
There's a lot of kicking going on at the moment, so this is a simple enough one for Donlan to gather. Oh, dearie me. Didn't like the look of the foot. O'Meara went in, Richardson followed through. Referee Conley has to stop in here. And even Matthew Elliott went clean.
He did fall into him, to be fair to Richardson, but we saw Dewsbury kicking out of their 30-metre there, and I think he'll be going on report here.
Well, the touch judge is on.
Want to put a report? Okay. Yeah. Or tackle. Anything around the head. Well, who's going next? Okay.
Tackles before it. 5 from Dewsbury, 6 from Leigh. Plenty of verbals going on after the
Bob Conley going to speak to the captains, but he did fall into him. He ended up being high, but hopefully the kid will get back on his feet and contribute to the game.
Well, Donlan still being brought round, brought back to his senses.
Bob Conley going to speak to the captains here about an incident that happened earlier. I think that's the appropriate action in that case.
Quite often it happens, doesn't it? There's something looks worse than it is. There's no great intention there. It's just the way the bodies collide.
Yeah, he'd been hit low and he was on his way down to the ground, but there was a swinging arm involved.
So play resumes. Richardson, a few beads of perspiration there, worrying whether he was going to get a sin bin or not. But the perspiration he needs now is as Leigh come look to get on the score sheet for the first time this afternoon. We've gone through 20 minutes and they've not got a point as yet. So a quarter of the way through the match. Bretherton, the boy who's on loan to Leigh from Wigan.
And he's been lighting them up lately as well.
Gone to ground again, and will Paul Terzic be horrified by that? I can imagine what he's saying in his position.
They've just come up with too many unforced errors, and in that case it was the right play. It was just poor execution. Pass not put out in front of the player. Would have been some bother there if he would have hung on to that ball. He would have got an offload at least. And it's not the fact that they don't score, it's the fact that they relieve the pressure from Dewsbury and they get to do this bit.
Dewsbury have another set of 6 tackles now, and let's see how far they get with them.
Leigh needed to look to spark up and have another good defensive set so they can get down to this part of the park.
Williams, Dewsbury will settle for getting up towards the halfway mark. Eaton, Richardson. They work so much on their upper body strength, these players these days, so it does often take 2 and maybe even 3 men to halt them. Eaton the playmaker, Agar the kicker.
It's a 40-20 attempt.
Give him 10. Give him 10.
There's Not going to threaten that sideline.
Oh dear, what a horrid mistake, and Leigh continue to take too many errors for the liking of the coach and their fans.
And where you start to sweat if you're the Leigh coach here is that you've been in the position to put some try-scoring plays on it, and you haven't been able to do it. This is the first time Dewsbury have been down this end of the park in probably 15 minutes. Hold your breath.
Well, they scored in the first 5 minutes with that try from Eaton, converted by the same player. So he didn't have long to wait to equal his record of scoring in every match this season, and ball is going through.
That's a try.
Certainly looks as though he's made it here. They will drag him to his feet. And the Dewsbury Rams are on the score sheet for the second time, and he's only been on the field a matter of 30 seconds. And amazingly, Matthew Long, who we were just getting information that he'd come on as a sub, has bulldozed his way between and beneath 3 or 4 Centurions for his 6th try of the season, and Dewsbury is stretching into a healthy lead. Well, that has got to be a coach's dream substitution.
It is a dream substitution. It's an absolute nightmare for Alan Cross, who knocked the ball on from the long kick. And again, a feature of this try is the Leigh players tackling high. Daniel Frame ducked under one early to put it on, and on this occasion, you had the players on the goal line going high.
OK, let's hear from Neil Kelly, the Dewsbury coaches, with Chris Cooper.
Neil, that was an inspired substitution, that, wasn't it?
Well, it's more luck than judgment, I think, there, but obviously a great start for Matthew as he's gone on. I've got to pay tribute to the work that such a Shane Williams has done in that first 20.
Very happy with the way things are going in this opening 24 minutes, yeah?
Oh, I've got to be, yeah. Obviously, we're playing some good sets, and I think Leigh are trying to do the same, but at the moment, they're the ones that's coming up with the headers.
OK, thanks, Neil.
Up at there. Bit further.
10-0 it is. Here's the kick from Eaton. Well, he's usually a surefire kicker, but not on this occasion. Still 10-0 then, but what a good state Dewsbury find themselves in at this early stage of the game.
Yes.
Here goes Long. He must have been inspired himself now. It's a great moment for the youngster whose son Arnie, of course, played for the old Bradford Northern in a final at Wembley against Featherstone Rovers a long time ago, 27 years. His son's come up with the goods today. Can Eaton come up with the goods again with this kick now?
Give him 10!
He doesn't get a favourable bounce, but here come the cavalry. Oh, Alan Cross. He needs to come up with something for his team, because he came up with a diabolical mistake earlier on.
Yeah, and that all led to that second Dewsbury try. Here goes Anderson, caught by the toenail, literally there by Brendan O'Meara. Hyam slips. And of course, we mustn't forget that it was raining quite heavily at some stage a couple of hours ago, so it's still a little greasy down there.
There's plenty of moisture still on this field.
Tim Street, the bulldozer, the human bulldozer. Pirtle. But with 4 points for a try, the complexion of a match can change so quickly. And, well, the Dewsbury players are applauding here, because literally nothing is going right at the moment for Leigh.
They just can't come up with a high note finish to a set. There they came up with some of their most creative play of the half, started to put some pressure on the Dewsbury defence, and again the pressure valve is relieved by a silly error.
Long.
Okay, guys, move 10. Get the hands on the rope. Here we go.
Eaton. Agar. Familiar kick and a chase here for Dewsbury. I think it might just get across the whitewash before they get hold of it, but intelligent kick from Richard Agar.
It was a nice play. It's probably a metre too long. It was a set play. Just failed to put the kick where he needed to. There would have been a few hearts in mouth from Leigh supporters and players.
Well, even the referee congratulating the players on their work rate.
He's doing a fine job, Bob Connolly, today. He's massaging the defensive lines around, getting them back to him, and there's been enough space.
Ingram. Then Cruikshank. He looks the liveliest of the pack.
There's plenty of endeavour out there. They're just not working together like they'd like to, I'm sure.
Well, they've made a substitution of their own, Leigh, now. David Whittle has come on. Cruikshank does get this one away to Whittle. They've got those two shaven-headed prop forwards in unison out there now. This is what Leigh need more of. Good running from Kieran Purtle, 22-year-old scrum half, who scored in the recent league win against Dewsbury. Well, if ever they needed a try, it's now Leigh Centurions. And the ball is lost. Referee says play on. Sim Street here. We'll get it away here. It's McHyan. Leigh score. McHyan's in. Leigh's first one. Virtually the first mistake that Dewsbury Rams have made. And it's the man who is the top try scorer. His 21st of the season. Leigh are on the scoreboard and the mascot can join in the celebrations. There it was, there was the mistake. And following through.
If you just hold it there, you'll see that he's tried to come up with a great loose ball, some great reaction from the prop. And Hyam, he's crossed the stripe 20 times this year.
Tim Street did the hard work. Hyam finished it off.
And this is exactly what Leigh were looking for. Well, it's certainly brought the Leigh fans alive, and they need to get behind their team here. Because fortunately for them, if he kicks this goal, there's only 4 points in this game, and the indicators of the game probably would tell you that they shouldn't be that close.
So it's an important kick even at this early stage for Leigh. The closer they can get, the better for them, having been second best all the way through so far.
Well, my kitman tells me it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And with 9 minutes to go in this half,
it's very true, but Liam Dennison's boot sees the flags raised in unison, and they have 6 points on the sheet now, and it's the Dewsbury Rams 10, Leigh Centurions 6.
And if Leigh can buck up and take some confidence from that and expend some energy at the end of this half, we could see another score here. And the two decisive plays and the last two tries have been from errors.
Well, you as the Bradford Bulls coach know that that's the one thing you preach to your players, isn't it? Cut out the errors.
You can't be too conservative, but again, two unforced errors, they hurt.
It's the first time that Paul Tursis will have smiled all afternoon there. But it will have lifted morale for those in red.
Well, I can see their energy's lifted as well.
And the introduction of the substitute Dave Whittle coincided with that try too. Substitutions are a vital ingredient in this game. It's very much a 17-man game.
Well, I also feel that the rotation that Tursis has got with his props, as we see Tim Street wreak some havoc in the Dewsbury defence. They do have the edge there.
Perter's playing a notable part too. It's a question mark over Nathan Graham here. Well, I know we all remember Wembley and poor old Nathan when he spilled 3 of those from Bobby Golding, but he was confident there.
It's unfair to blame Nathan for all those 3. As we recognised when we were playing at that time.
Oh, McDonald! Great break for Dewsbury here. Oh, unfortunate that he slipped there. Ryan McDonald, another substitute who slipped onto the field almost unnoticed. Richardson. Again, fresh legs you see in the shape of McDonald there, paying off for Dewsbury. And Neil Kelly will be hoping that they can come right back with a score of their own now. Here's the kick through, and Graham's one of those up there chasing, falls on his opposite number, Donlan.
And that's a lovely loose ball by the Leigh fullback.
Good play. The ball slipped out of the tackle here. Goes Whittle once more, the former Wigan Warrior. Qualified to play for Wales is Whittle. The loose forward now, Bristow, another of the Australian contingent.
Leigh just starting to get some offloads and get some second phase play, which is again a feature of what they do well.
Pressure on Flynn now. Doesn't seem to have the ball for ages. Will try and get through here, but held in the 2-man tackle of Ingram and Anderson. Nearer to Eaton. Richardson. Down he goes. And Leigh's work rate is being upped at the moment as well. Long. He came on and got that crucial second score. McDonald.
Dewsbury subs working hard for them, but you just feel like Dewsbury are waiting for half-time and Leigh are looking for some positive play.
Agar going for a 40-20. Might just make it. Oh, brilliant play by the wingman Ingram to whip that ball back before it crossed the line, and he gave it to Donlan, but he saved his side from a potential try-scoring position for Dewsbury.
Ooh, that would have been a big play, and it would be interesting to see a replay of that because he must have been very, very close to the sideline.
Well, my impression was he was okay, just looking down the line, which you can't do, I know, Matthew.
You had a better view of it, and I'll take your word for it.
Cruikshank.
But again, Dewsbury enjoying good field position.
They'll try and get Anderson moving if they can. But Dewsbury's tackling spot on in the shape of Eaton this time. McDonald manages to hold Bristow up as we move towards the last 5 minutes of the half. Whittle does well. Now straight, they might open them up on that far side now. Here goes Simon Baldwin. It's inside, a siding run here. Much more exciting from Leigh. Brilliant, going through the hands. They've still got a position. It might have to come wide right. And a crucial tackle by Eaton there. And the handover for the most spectacular sequence of play we've seen. And Paul Terzic in the centre there, just explaining something to his assistant Mark Bailey. Will have been lifted by that and yet still disappointed they didn't score.
This is starting to light the field up now, but Brethren needed to find a pass there. It was last play and he had a flood of people coming through. And that's a forced error on the back of a strong tackle from Cruikshank. And with just over 4 minutes before half-time, this is a crucial period of the game.
But it's very, very tight as we expected from two sides. There's not been much in the league all season, to be fair. Even those who just finished outside the top 8, the likes of Barrow and Swinton, were capable of beating teams, and Whitehaven.
Yeah, but as the two co-commentators said earlier, these are the 2 best teams in this competition, and I think the display they're putting on today is proving that.
You're enjoying it?
Most definitely.
Fairclough, the captain of Leigh, leading from the front. Bristow. Now another substitute on is Paul Norman here, number 15, just entered the fray. Pertill. They're looking much, much livelier than they ever did in the first 20 minutes. They've really come alive here in Lancashire. The Leigh Centurions Bristow. McDonald's tackle's a good one. No, he certainly felt it, hasn't he, Adam Bristow?
He certainly shook him up. And they've got another problem over on their left-hand side with Purtell hitting the ground. He got towed up by Cruikshank when they ran into each other. And at the moment, their halves aren't getting in control.
Bretherton. Anderson can't find a way through, but he has presence of mind to put the ball onto the ground there. It's picked up by Cruikshank. That was okay. Ready and waiting is Ingram here. Then Bretherton, he'll kick through. It's likely to go dead, I think. Bit of a waste in the end.
He was looking to hit the post, I think. A Sean Long special.
You as a coach would have spotted a thing like that. So he needs a bit of practice on accuracy.
They're big plays when they come off.
McDonald. Nathan Graham now, the captain and fullback who's missed only one match all season. Richardson always takes them on. Richardson through the middle. Held by Norman this time. There you go. Ball. The switch back inside. Here's Barry Eaton. Oh, he was looking for support to his left when it was at his right-hand side. Just looked the wrong way, that was all there.
They needed one more player there, and they were in a big chance of scoring.
Agar goes for the dribble, and he's pushed the ball through here. Almira will get there. He's a very inventive player, Richard Agar. His dad has taught him well.
His dad will be very proud of him today. He's come up with some very industrious play, and just a little bit too much foot on that one.
Relief for Leigh, and it's important for them not to concede anything in these last 90 seconds of the half.
Well, with 90 seconds to go, there's still an opportunity of scoring a try.
But they've given themselves a toehold in the match with that try from McHayam. There's hardly been a penalty, has there, certainly for offside, and Bob Conley's done an excellent job.
He's kept the teams well apart.
Don't milk it, guys, don't milk it.
I'm sure the Leigh coach will be a little concerned with the ruck speed and the amount of lying on that he's allowed them to get away with, but I think that's more from dominant tackles.
Purtell on the 40-metre mark. Higher. The kick is from Bristow. Richard Baker has it. He's not dropped a thing all day. Now, can his sprint get him out of the tackle of Adam Bristow? The answer to that was no. Excellent play from the loose forward. Nathan Graham.
Dewsbury will be happy to just hit the ball up this set, get to half-time with the 4-point advantage.
2 tries to 1 it is at the moment. The advantage with the Rams. And the referee calls half-time, and the teams will go off for a well-earned rest. Dewsbury off to a flying start with Barry Eaton's try, one he converted himself, and that lead was stretched by Matt Long, but that McHayam try and a conversion by Liam Bretherton makes it 10-6 at half-time, but Leigh do have a toehold in this match. So we'll have reaction coming up from Peter Rowe and from David Hume in a moment after this break.
It's all about self-belief. Players on both sides have to believe that they're 40 minutes away from getting their hands on that trophy, Peter.
Well, they've got to reflect on the seasons they've had. They've obviously played with self-belief. They've got to the final, so the belief must have been there. And basically, it's nearly like being nil-nil again. It's start again, chaps, and let's improve on what happened in the first half.
OK, questions to be answered. Our man with the microphone, if not the answers, is John Helm, and the Bradford Bulls coach Matthew Elliott is alongside him in the commentary box. Here's the second half.
Thank you, Ian. If only we did have the answers. Play restarts from the boot of Paul Anderson. Interesting there, both coaches taking a very calm and calculated approach to what they said to the players in the dressing. The right way to do it, Matt?
It was significant, from the Leigh coach that he came up with the fact that they weren't going forward. They were actually shifting the ball before they did that.
Well, he's an experienced coach. in terms of Australia. Paul Tursis, born in Manly, and he's coached in 3 grand finals there, winning 1 and losing 2. And he's actually been involved in grand finals or semi-finals in 10 of the last 12 years. Astonishing.
12, Leigh, 12, you're flopping.
It's not new to Neil Kelly either, of course, having suffered last year at the hands of the Hunslet Hawks. Huge punt here. And will it go dead? Ooh, ticklish one for the decision, but he made the right decision in the end.
Well, the wind's picked up here a little bit, John, but I thought it was favouring Leigh, which may help them. Dewsbury need to be careful for holding their breath for the next 40 minutes and trying to come out with a win. They need to continue to play the industrious football that got them in front.
Very smart strip, isn't it, the Dewsbury one? The famous colours, of course. The use with the thick hoops, didn't it? The red, amber and black. Yellow.
You're pinching your Michael.
It's Paul Norman who's come on there for Leigh, and he comes up with a good carry to start.
Well, the two coaches use their substitutes intelligently and frequently. Just before half-time, we saw Norman and Whittle come on for Leigh, who are attacking now at the moment through Andy Fairclough, their captain. Still he goes. He's got away from one. Not away from McDonald, though.
And the significant thing for me there was that Leigh came up with 3 quick play the balls in that set.
Chipped high. And this might fall into Leigh hands. Cleverly done by Bristow. Here is Norman. And he flips the ball back, but straight into a pair of Dewsbury hands. Those owned by their centre, Dan Potter.
A much better start for Leigh than it was in the first half, however.
It's amazing, though, how often in the final it takes one side a while to settle, while the other one just seems up for it. Dewsbury, by the way, stayed last night close to here in a Manchester hotel. They trained at the Oldham Rugby Union ground yesterday, and Neil Kelly was delighted with their preparations.
And here's McDonald. He's been a handful since he's come on the field. Leigh are really struggling to come to grips with him.
Commentator's dream, isn't he, with that carrot top? Here's the kick. Oh, and Norman has followed through here on Hagar. Very, very late. And referee Connolly's got a decision to make. And he'll be helped by his touch judge, who is out here. And McDonald is now remonstrating with Paul Norman as well. But that's the first really unseemly incident I think there has been.
And it was unnecessary. His team had held Dewsbury inside their 40-metre area, and again had regained the ball in great attacking position.
Well, we shall see, because the referee is now listening to his assistants.
15! 15!
He's got the right number.
He certainly has, and this is...
We're late, no dismissal, so on for report, it's a penalty against you down there, 6 tackle, look what you've done to your lads, look what you've done to your lads.
Look what you've done to your lads. He's almost acting as a coach there, isn't he? But Hagar's all right. That's the most important thing for Dewsbury.
Oh, I don't think he was ever under threat of hurting himself. The hit wouldn't have actually knocked the top off a rice custard, but he certainly got the penalty, but it was late.
What it does do, as the referee said, is give Dewsbury a platform. David Maiko to McDonald. He has been in the thick of things, hasn't he, McDonald?
He's a strong lad. There's nothing like a good redhead.
Eaton, spoken like a redhead, mate. 2 tackles gone. Well, it might eventually lead to a drop goal or a field goal, call it what you will these days, but Eaton for the time being flings it. Hagar brings it inside, and it's Eaton who spins it. I don't think he was expecting that for a moment, was it, from Baker?
No, and Dewsbury is starting to make it up. They're trying to follow the script and rather than playing what's in front of them, and it looked like Leigh in the first half.
Breathing space for the Leigh Centurions, who finished 4th in the table.
Listen. This is the part where you listen and I talk. Don't speak. I'm going to warn you, right? We're going to do each other all the way through the game. If you want to carry on, I'm going to put you both in the sin bin, or you can carry on over there. It's entirely up to you. You keep it short, or I'll dispatch you both, okay?
I don't think they'll be sending Christmas cards to each other, those two guys.
He's got a great Lancashire accent, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
Here come Leigh then, Anderson.
Not unlike mine, John.
Well, honorary Yorkshireman there. Again, fierce tackling at the start of the half. Two teams just getting the feel of the match again. It's amazing how a 10-minute break can take a rhythm away from you.
Yeah, but Leigh carrying the ball with a lot more thrust than they did at the beginning of the game. And again, they're starting to get a roll on.
Yeah, does well to get that one away as well. Something Leigh started to do in the last 10 minutes of the half. Get the ball away and the tackle much better. Offloading.
They play great reaction football, Leigh.
Whittle has brought the fullback Donlan into play. His father used to play for Bradford Northern before you came, of course, to the club. Now then, it's kicked high by Purtill. They really are testing Baker out today, and he's held everything so far.
It was a nice catch under plenty of pressure, both from the Leigh defence and the sideline.
But it's clearly something that the coach has told him to work on, isn't it?
Well, he's not the biggest player you've ever seen.
Here he's now running the ball. That's what he prefers to do. Richardson now. He's had a great season, Sean Richardson, another who was nominated in the Northern Ford Premiership All-Stars team.
But for mine, it's Leigh that started the half, the more physical team and the more dominant team.
So maybe those chart boards work at half-time. It's something you might have to introduce at Bradford.
Please.
He's going to have to bring it out. Donlan does it well. And he'll be taken here in the second tackle of Dan Potter.
Lucky not to get away with a penalty there. Good tackle from ball low.
That's a poor ball. Again, Leigh did that twice in the early stages of the first half. You simply can't afford to bounce this funny-shaped ball along the ground.
Not in this part of the field you can't, because you just take all the pressure off the opposition.
That was Simon Baldwin. This is their try scorer, Hyam. Now they are running it impressively.
By getting good ruck speed, they allow Purtill and Hyam to play. That's a nice kick.
Taken by Baker. A winner last year with the Hunslet Hawks. And scored in that playoff defeat by Leigh. They are just so evenly matched, these two teams. It's not surprising they've met 4 times this season, even before today. The 5th meeting, and often old scores can be carried through to matches like this.
Yeah, well, there's 32 minutes for someone to stand up and make a difference.
Good-looking kick. Terrific kick.
Those plays are big plays in final matches. And if you just have a look at the Leigh players as they go back to this scrum, their heads are down.
40-20 it is, the first of the match, successfully executed.
A lovely shot. I think you'll find it's the second, John, sorry.
My apologies, I never could count. That's why you were doing that quiz.
Both from Dewsbury. Watch for something at the scrum base here.
Flynn's come in field. He's used his pace to good advantage on more than one occasion already. Oh! He did have the presence of mind to knock the ball backwards, though. And Nathan Graham grabbed it.
That's a great loose ball, allows him to keep the pressure on.
It's a big, big chance this for Dewsbury. They more than anybody want the next score.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. McDonald.
Stay.
Huge moment in the match, this. Dewsbury with an attacking chance for Richardson. And he's well held. They know all about Sean Richardson. I've suffered at his hands earlier this season. He got 2 tries against them. Is there a way through this time? Going on the outside, it's framed. Ujoki brings it back. It's kicked forward, but the judge has raised his flag. Good defensive play from Leigh.
A big defensive play from Leigh. The sliding defence covered the inside well and forced them in the touch.
Just a little anxiety there from Dewsbury. That's doing things a little too quickly.
And what they can't expect to do is score every time they get in this part of the field. A good result there would have been to get to last play and put the ball into the in-goal area. And here comes a far more positive Leigh team now.
Well, the scoring of the two clubs over 28 matches incredibly similar. Dewsbury scored 848 points. Leigh scored 854, just 6 more in all those games.
Oh, 6 again.
Hey.
There's a little bit of feeling coming around now.
Advantage. Look on.
Well, that's why I was talking about the old scores to be settled. One or two mistakes. Players sort of tending to look at the opponent rather than the ball there.
Listen, guys.
We're at a stage of the game with just 30 minutes to go that I think there's going to be some big plays coming in the next 10 minutes.
We shall test your prediction, starting with this
Put your head in,
scrum.
please. Put your head in the outside. Right.
Curtin. Then Anderson, who's not had any clear running opportunities at all today.
But the Leigh players are poking their nose through the Dewsbury defensive line consistently now. Again with Whittle.
McDonald, watch your elbow.
Norman. Dragging them up to halfway. Long, enthusiastic in his tackle there on Bristow. Purtill, a reverse ball and a good one to Norman as well. Very important tackle made on him there by the loose forward ball. Here's a big chance for Leigh, and the kick through probably unnecessary. I thought he had men on his outside he could have used, but at least they pushed the Dewsbury man in goal.
That's the result at the end of a set that you're looking for. You might not get points out of it, as again, it's handbags at 2 paces.
Flynn, calm yourself down.
That was a little chip ahead from Purtill, well held by Flynn. They're up sharply, and there are just too many red shirts there for him.
It looks like they learnt that at Oldham Rugby Union Club. A bit of rocking and mauling there.
But the drop out from beneath the posts.
And we've got a Dewsbury sub.
Substitution for Dewsbury, number 15, Paul Delaney.
Well, I think they're calling on the old man of the club, Paul Delaney. 31, he's been with them a decade now. Just to steady the ship, I think.
And they're creaking at the moment, Dewsbury.
Leigh are calling the shots.
And he's had a massive influence since he's come on, is Whittle.
Whittle, yeah, absolutely. And here they go now with Bretherton, he stretches. Oh, he has scored in both his appearances against Dewsbury.
And that's his first sniff of space this game.
He nearly made it 3 in 3. The kick through held.
Great hands from Flynn, and off he goes. Oh dear, forced error. And it's that man Whittle again that's come up with it for Leigh.
It was an interesting selection, wasn't it? Whittle had a big game last week, but he chose to keep him on the bench, and he's had a big game, as you say. That was the Anderson kick, and what a good pair of hands Flynn showed.
Well, maybe that's why they're kicking down the other side, because of the potency that Flynn has and the safety he has under the high ball.
Stay ahead, stay aside.
It's Leigh's chance. Dewsbury had a similar 1 minute to go. Bretherton. They're very keen to make him a permanent fixture at Leigh if Wigan will let him go.
He's just starting
Which way to go? Bristow.
Here they go.
Whittle. Held. Surely. Not even he can get through that little knot. He doesn't want to play the ball, but he's going to have to do, and it's across the line, and another terrific tackle. Right up on the job was Damien Ball. Hyam, a kick through, and it should be seen dead by McDonald.
That's a very smart play from the Dewsbury substitution. Very smart play indeed, and he's taken a lot of pressure off his team by doing that. If you watch here, just kept himself over the ball, gave Leigh no opportunity to score.
Some good thinking going on out by the players.
There is, and you called it, John. Bretherton's just starting to spark up now, and if they can get their two halves to play Leigh, Dewsbury have to do very well to keep them out.
Wait.
Look for a big defensive set from Leigh here.
Barry Eaton.
He's come up with some big defensive plays today, Ball, but hasn't carried the ball as much as he normally does.
They look to the likes of Richardson here to Dewsbury, because they really haven't offered a great deal on attack in this half.
No, as I say, you just wonder whether they're getting conservative and just waiting. That's a great carry.
Agar, he's the intelligent one. It's an astute kick through as well. The bounce of the ball might just fool everybody. Very clever kick. It was a la Derek Fox was that. He used to do that. Look one way, kick the other, confuse the opposition.
And some outstanding referee from Connolly there as he called, I think it was Barry Eaton offside there.
Let's hear again from Neil Kelly. It's a rather different situation to the one when we heard from him in the first half. He's with Chris Cooper.
Neil, they're putting you under a bit more pressure this half.
Well, it's to be expected, obviously. We're in front at the moment, and like you say, they're putting us under the cosh a little bit, but if you want to win a game like this, you've got to be prepared to work.
Do you think it'll be over in 80 minutes, or might we have extra time, just 4 points in it?
Well, I hope it is over in 80 minutes, but we'll have to wait and see.
Thanks, Neil.
Under the cosh, he said, and they certainly have been for much of this half. Brave showing from the Leigh Centurions. A club who have won the championship, the first division, the cup twice, but their last trophy came 11 years ago in Division 2. Now they have an opportunity until the ball goes to ground from Simon Baldwin.
But again, looking promising for Leigh. Their players in their spine, that's their hooker in Hyam, Purtle and Brethren are starting to carry the ball at the Dewsbury defenders.
16 minutes into the second half and no change to the half-time scoreline. That shows just how close an encounter this one is.
Dewsbury need to get back to what they do best, and that's play with some adventure.
Nathan Graham, he's usually adventurous. Nominated for Player of the Year. It was won by Martin Wood of Keighley Cougars. Another club who have contributed much to this exciting season, as of the likes of Oldham and Widnes, Hull Kingston Rovers. Today the focus very much on the Dewsbury Rams and the Leigh Centurions. Agar.
Just to remind you once again, ladies and gentlemen,
frame held this time. The tackling has been keen and relentless.
It certainly has. As we see Dewsbury play a lot of lateral football rather than go forward football.
High from Agar. Now this is a big one. Donlan has spilled it. And he's regathered, and because the ball was not behind him in the opinion of the ref, he's okay.
Matthew Long must not want to score 2 tries. He wasn't watching the ball, he was watching the player under the high ball, and if he did, he might have picked that up for his team.
And if he had have scored, it might just have made Leigh a little crestfallen, because they've had so much of the game in this half. But you've got to score when you do have the game.
And it's also about mounting pressure, John, in these big games, and I feel like the pressure's on Dewsbury at the moment.
Certainly is. Purton.
It's a good solid defensive set though by Dewsbury there.
Purtill's kick again into the space this time. The chase might be on, but it'll be Baker to pick up, Baker to sprint away, and to get away almost, apart from Andy Fairclough.
Keep your hands out, keep your hands out.
Graham always runs positively, and he runs well too. And he made 20 yards cross field. McDonald qualified for Scotland, and so he should be with a name like that. Eaton. Oh, clever play. Oh, he was so close to hoodwinking the Mer.
And just lacked another supporting player on his shoulder.
There you go with the kick. Oh, and Bourke there was framed. That surely was a knock-on by Alan Cross. And a few choice words said as Paul Tours is there in the crowd. Ponders really and wondered what he can do from there. He does say that in the last 10 minutes he'll probably come down to the touchline.
Well, I hope he's not suffering deja vu, because Alan Cross has come up with another error from the kick through, and we know what happened last time he did that.
Dewsbury scored a try through long.
In the last 5 minutes, both Brendan O'Meara and Nathan Graham have carried the ball a lot for Dewsbury in tough positions.
Can Dewsbury profit from that mistake? It's inside to Baker. 5 to go. crucial moment. Eaton will try and spread it. They'll try and stretch Leigh as Graham reverts it inside for Flynn. 4 to go. Shane Williams now, a man who's not going to try all season. I do him an injustice, he has got one, but that was a long, long time ago. Now it's Ball, dangerous close to the line, Damien Ball. He came up with a try 12 months ago in the final at Headingley. Oh, it's not the best ball. Agar might make something of it, the little kick. Well, it was a credible kick, but it's gone dead again, and Dewsbury failed to capitalise.
That's a good result from that set. And there's some hands on hips and heads down in the Leigh team.
Halfway through the second half, still no more points on the board. Dewsbury holding on, the water carriers dashing about hither and thither across the pitch. Anderson needing a bit of treatment from the Leigh physio, Frank Taylor. And I think the players will welcome a breather at this moment because the pace has never slackened.
And we've got Tim Street back on the field.
I bet he's been itching to get out there. Those Leigh fans don't know which way it's going to go, obviously. The dropout will fall to Baker. Everything seems to have fallen to him. Held in the very first tackle. Now McDonald, the raw-boned Scot.
I could actually see him in a kilt, John. Whereas I don't think Williams would look great in one.
No, I don't think Williams would. Oh, and he's still the ball. But it's a penalty going to be given. The ball taken illegally in the tackle there, knocked out of Williams' grasp. And this will just give Barry Eaton a chance to stretch Dewsbury's lead.
It's the right call from the referee. Tim Street's just come on the field and he didn't need to do that.
He only knows one way to play, though, doesn't he?
Well, he does play tough, but I think he was a little silly there.
Can you go back to me, please? Yeah. Keep going, keep going. Same distance away, keep going. Another one, please. That's fine.
Wonderful how rugby league players do as they're told. When a referee tells them to go another yard, they go another yard.
Yeah. I'm sure, as opposed to the other
yeah, I was just thinking
sport that you were thinking of, Barry Eaton will be looking to kick the ball over the post here.
Yeah, Neil Kelly there. Looks calm at the moment, but he so badly wants this. The NFP Coach of the Year. He's led Dewsbury to the top of the table in consecutive seasons. But there's nothing as draining as a grand final, especially when you lose it.
Well, you've just got to ask yourself whether his team has weathered the storm that Leigh threw at them there. And at this stage, the scoreboard, which may go to 12-6 and a tick, indicates that.
Dewsbury are very proud of their fitness. Here's Barry Eaton. It's 8 points for him now today. 394 for the season. More importantly, the first points of the half go to the side in the lead, and they now lead 12-6. So Leigh need 2 scores.
There's still plenty of time to do that. There's 16 minutes to go in this football game.
It's a grubber kick, but it's a handy one for Frame.
That's an indication that Leigh are looking for cheap plays. I think Nathan Graham's contribution in this second half has shown some great leadership.
He's wanted the ball at all times, hasn't he? Damien Ball, he's another one who leads from the front.
I think that Nathan Graham's recognised that his people in the middle of the park have needed a hand.
Williams flings it out. It is that man Ball again. Dewsbury's player of the year. Both the player's player and the club player of the year.
And he's gone in there. That wasn't pretty.
Off the ball incident, and it's Simon Baldwin who is coming up. Williams wants to remonstrate with him. Such judges are on again.
It was Williams and Whittle having a very in-depth discussion.
The first offence was probably...
Go away, I'm taking a report. Please go away.
The first offence was the elbow from Dewsbury 8, which was retaliated with by a punch from the red one. and then
Okay.
exchange blows between themselves.
Dewsbury number 8.
Elbows, knees, punches, bit of everything, and I think the card is coming out.
I think these
Off he goes for 10 minutes, Shane Williams.
as will the Leigh player goes, but the devastating thing here for Dewsbury is they're going to get a penalty against them while they were in possession.
You head on, so you can go as well.
Whittle's going too.
First offence.
They'll probably have a little chat over the next 10 minutes.
They probably will.
It's to the report. That's why I submitted him.
I was going to be terrible there and say that it might swap their Weight Watchers numbers.
Here we go. This is it. You can tell us what goes on here, Matthew.
Leave it to me.
Well, it's a little hard to tell.
But it's handed the initiative back to Leigh here.
Which would be disappointing for Neil Kelly.
It does mean we might have a grandstand finish. Let me remind you again, we would have extra time if the scores are tied at the end of 80 minutes. Cruikshank.
2. Clear.
4 more to go. Hyam, who've got the one lead try of the match so far. Bretherton has crossed to Purtill, then to Bristow. Now to this fullback Donlan. Stuart Donlan, who has scored 4 times against Dewsbury this season. Now would be a very handy time for him to come up with his 5th. Purtill gets it out. Simon Baldwin.
If Dewsbury continue to let Leigh offload the ball, they're going to get scored on.
Purtill comes left. No way through there. So they'll have to try a different avenue. Cross. He might just feel he owes them something. But he's held up and they've missed the initiative and missed the opportunity.
They had their whole offensive line set out on their right side there, Leigh, and they were screaming for the ball. They had some numbers on them on the edge. The winger got caught on last play, and there's another forced error from the young kid Hyam.
I think the defensive work of both sides have been pretty good today, but a little steadier finishing has been required.
Yes, and Coach Terzis has put the hook in, and he's taken Alan Cross off the field. One too many errors.
Still, Leigh have the opportunity now. The reverse ball is to Anderson. He's looking, he's still holding the ball up there as he stands up straight.
And here they come down the short side.
Hyam, Bristow now, he's close to that Dewsbury try line, and we know he's dangerous there too. Leigh need a score. Can Anderson provide one for them? Excellent Rams tackling. But Dewsbury holding on with 12 minutes to go.
Well, he's committed 4 players to that area.
The hook is in. Hyam, they can't stop him. That was poor Dewsbury play. Mick Hyam, the best to take advantage. The new Paul Rowley, they call him, is 22nd of the season now. And Leigh are right back in this with the kick to come. Surely the scores are going to be tied level.
Well, when we have a look at the replay of this, we'll have a look at Anderson commits 4 players to himself in that tackle, and they don't recover quickly enough. And there's a double for that kid.
Discipline the guys. Win the game. Tell Dewsbury exactly the same. Discipline and win you and lose you the game.
Well, he's over there. He's Mick Hyam for his 2nd of the day, and you might just have heard referee Connolly saying he's telling both teams the same. Discipline will win and lose you the game. Leigh's fans ecstatic. They've been behind all day. They are still not going to go in front, even if this kick from Bretherton sails through the sticks, but they will be level in the contest. It's the red and whites who are cheering. The Hilton Park fans. This to bring Leigh level. Vital kick. Just look at the anxiety and the tension. He's just equal to it. He didn't look altogether confident, but he's made it a big kick for Leigh and Bretherton. 12-12.
And if you look on your screens now, you see those circle players. Anderson's committed 4 players to him after a strong carry. He gets the ball down on the ground very quickly, and Hyam does what he does best. Try time.
But Neil Kelly will be bitterly disappointed there. A lack of concentration from Dewsbury just for a second. And they are storming now with Tim Street.
It's game on.
With 10 minutes remaining. The countdown is done as well. It's down to 9 now.
Well, you'd have to think that Coach Kelly would be very disappointed with Williams, who surrendered the penalty while they were in possession and got himself sinned in.
That was another slick ball from Hyam. He'd be a candidate for man of the match at the moment. 2 tries and a good game all round. Pertil, he's having an influence as well at halfback.
And Leigh have grown a leg.
And Dewsbury are the ones who are going to find it hard to claw their way back into this game. When the tide starts to flow against you, when you've been in front, it's very difficult to turn it, as he knows only too well.
The brow is furrowed. What Dewsbury need now is their influential players, Agar, Eden, Graham, to pull them back in the game.
Looks as though Gavin Wood was getting stricter action behind Neil Kelly.
Control yourself, each one of you to control the game.
The referee doing a great job out there, reminding the players that it's 12 all and 1 penalty will cost them.
What's amazing, last year's final was 12-11. Come here, he says.
Yeah.
Real schoolmaster, isn't he?
Well, just after warning them, there's been some angst in the front row.
What we just told you both, right? I've already put 2 in the bin.
Angst, that's a good word for that. I like that.
Hey. Listen.
Would you tell Tim Street what to do?
You're going to the scrum. The first one to throw a punch.
Oh, sure, Richard.
I'd certainly tell him to change his barber.
Control yourself, control him.
Have a look at it, he doesn't have one. Dewsbury have to have the ball here. And Leigh are up so quickly again.
What Leigh have done well in this half, in this part of the field, is really put some pressure on the Dewsbury offence, and they've forced a couple of errors.
Fitness a key factor. We were talking before the match, Matthew, saying the days of the porky props have gone.
They certainly have, and I'm looking at the Dewsbury team now, and they're slow to set up.
Eaton. Oh, Richardson a fumble. The nerves are perhaps more on the Dewsbury side, especially having lost 12 months ago. Things like that do go through players' heads.
It certainly does, John, and as the anxiety builds, the skill level drops.
Barry nearly wriggled away there. Agar.
That's a great shot.
He's an influential player. He's gone for a big kick. He was slightly unlucky there. It was taken by David Ingram, this vastly experienced Leigh player, their top try scorer of the past decade. And it's at times like this you need your experienced men.
Someone needs to stand up and lead when you're at a 12-all scoreline in a grand final.
Let's go!
You couldn't ask for a better finish. 7 minutes remaining. Dewsbury Rams 12, Leigh Centurions 12. Who's going to win it? Baldwin away! Streaks away! Chips ahead straight into the hands of Nathan Graham. And now he has a tilt.
I don't know if that was the best selection of play there from Simon Baldwin. He just needed to go a little further and get the ball in and get him on the next play. Some great hands from Nathan Graham.
Eaton and Richardson always at his shoulder.
Dewsbury have lost all their go forward here, and they're trying to play around Leigh, and it's not working for them.
O'Meara perhaps playing a little bit too much one-man rugby, just driving it in.
And that's what happens when you play conservative.
Eaton.
Once you get behind, it's hard to click back in the top gear again.
Eaton still looks sharp. He still looks capable of making one of those scissor breaks. Here's another kick which looks useful. Ooh. Yep. That's okay from Richard Agar.
You have to say that's pinpoint accuracy. The cynic would tell you that was a tad lucky.
I don't think he meant it. I think Richard Agar's an intelligent footballer. He's a leader as well. He talks well in the dressing room, and he wants to be a coach one day. So he'll be picking up a few tips along the way. Still young enough to play for many years yet.
Well, with 5 minutes to go, with the field position now, this is a big set for both teams.
Leigh need to retain possession here, not make any mistakes. Cruikshank, Pertill this time. Still Pertill.
And it's Leigh that continue to be the more positive when they've got possession. Oh. How does Barry Eaton kick drop goals?
Come down.
Well, there have been too many errors. They've been strewn throughout this match. That was another one. So once more, Dewsbury have the chance here, 40 metres out, to give themselves hope. Leigh have shown brave resistance in coming back at the Dewsbury side, which was bossing the game at one stage. Once more, Flynn has shown energy and good running skills, good pace, frame now.
But it's the go forward that Dewsbury are looking at.
And they will be thinking about that field goal from this man Eaton. For the moment he offloads to Richardson.
There's a big drive towards the post here. Daniel Frames lined himself up, and here comes Williams. It's one of the few times I've seen Dewsbury get out of Acton half. They need to get a play towards the middle of the park. Oh, in a very short
time. Here he goes, Barry Eaton, charged down, then it spins away for Richard Baker, and a touch of fortune there.
It's back to one.
Yeah, it's back to one. Big chance for Dewsbury. They must retain the ball though. Oh, Neil Kelly will have nightmares about that. I thought when Baker held on to the ball, Dewsbury were going to get a very fortuitous opportunity.
Well, they get the scrum feed, but you might need to send the medics over to Neil Kelly, I think. That's heart attack stuff.
But you're glad you're not in charge today. 3 minutes remaining here at Gig Lane, Bury. Massive moment in the match as Barry Eaton scuffles away, goes for the gap. Held by Cruikshank and by Bristow. Can Dewsbury find a way through now? They were in the lead for so long. This is ball. 4 more tackles to go. Dewsbury fans calling for a score. It's back with Nathan Graham, the captain. Can he make the breakthrough? No, but Richardson might. Still Sean Richardson, 3 to go.
They just can't get anyone to arrive on the end of a play at the moment. It's all lateral.
Leigh holding on. Agar drop goal attempt. He's spinning over the crossbar.
He's thrown it over.
Richard Agar has spun the ball off the right boot, and it has gone towering over the top of the Leigh Centurions crossbar. And with 2 minutes to go, it's the Dewsbury Rams 13, Leigh Centurions 12.
Well, it's not the prettiest drop goal I've ever seen. However,
I bet it was pretty to Richard Agar.
It's game on.
Is he to be the match winner? 27 years on from the day when his dad was part of the Dewsbury side which won the Premiership.
Well, it's going to be another 1-point margin if it ends up that way again. And Dewsbury need to make sure they get the ball into touch on last play. And all of a sudden, they're all injured.
Let's go.
Leigh are going to get another possession out of this game, though.
13-12, a grandstand finish. Less than 90 seconds remaining on the clock.
Need to get up the park a little bit further.
They've got to keep the ball slightly high, but the referee's happy with it.
He's had a good game, Daniel Frame. And they really need to get the ball into touch here.
Delaney back to Eaton. Eaton's kick is going to go dead, I think, at the far end. No, it's picked up because Donlan needs it in his possession. Can Leigh stage one last grand finale?
40 seconds to go. Leigh need to...
Here come Leigh now. They've got to run it. 2 gone, 4 to go. Can they get through these 4? 30 seconds to go. Dewsbury on their way to grand final success. 12 months after they were beaten by Hunslet, and the ball knocked forward. And hello, Tim Street's in there. Surely now Dewsbury are to avenge their defeat of 12 months ago by Hunslet Hawks.
Well, we're going to get one play after this scrum. What prize a kick from the scrum base?
Well, we couldn't have asked for a more thrilling finish. That drop goal from Richard Ager may be enough
4 seconds
to see Dewsbury to their first grand final. Wakefield won it, Hunslet won it. Is this the year for the Dewsbury Rams?
He needs to pass the ball, this kid. He needs to pass it.
Gotta get it away, James Arkwright.
Oh dear.
It's Dewsbury's day. The Dewsbury Rams. No, it's not over yet. It's still not over. They think it is, but the referee, I think, is still calling for another scrum. There's a bit of confusion here. We need to hear the referee. He's given one more scrum.
Well, here comes the shove.
Dewsbury thought they had it.
Put the ball in.
Put that ball in, he says. It's out for Dewsbury. Eaton.
Whoa.
They're still jumping up in the air, some of those Dewsbury Rams players. They believe they've got the job done. It's done now. It's victory for the Dewsbury Rams. 12 months on from losing by a single point to Hunslet Hawks. They've won by a single point against the Leigh Centurions. Neil Kelly there, jubilant. Lee's players disconsolate because they have given their all, and having got back to 12 all with the only try of the second half from Mick Hyam, they are desperate to be beaten by Richard Ager's drop goal. But for Neil Kelly, wonderful, sweet moments.
Yeah, he'll be very pleased, and as you said, the Leigh coach, the Leigh players will be feeling very despondent at the moment. They put a lot of effort into that performance, and they'll feel like they were capable of winning. But accolades have got to go to the winners, and it's good to see Dewsbury win.
Amazing that Dewsbury didn't score a single try in the second half. Eaton got one in the first half, so did Matt Long. Hyam got 2 tries for Leigh, but look at the response of those Leigh players now. They cannot believe that they have been beaten, having come so close.
Well, at 2 tries apiece, it puts an end to the myth that you need to score a lot of points for the game to be entertaining. I thought it was a really high-quality match, and both sets of defence put on a great performance.
So it's congratulations to those Dewsbury Rams players who have given their all, as of the Leigh Centurions. But you think that for Dewsbury, well, it's justice in many ways. Having topped the table, it's right, I always think, that the top team should come out on top. And they were so disappointed 12 months ago when they lost to Hunslet. And now they can celebrate. This is their day. The Dewsbury Rams winning by 13 points to 12, thanks to Richard Ager there. There'll be reaction coming up in a moment, plus the presentation of the cup after this break. Welcome back to Gig Lane at the climax of a thrilling Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final, won by the Dewsbury Rams by a single point. And it's a time for cuddling babies. It happens at Wembley these days in FA Cup finals, so why not here? Here go the Leigh players to receive their medals. Always disappointed, always desperate moments, Matt Elliott, for losers this.
Yeah, I've been in that position, and you can't help but feel for this team. They did enough probably to win the game, but unfortunately on the big plays, they went Dewsbury's way. And it's not a feeling that anyone would relish.
Played forward by their captain, Andy Fairclough. And he had a big game, didn't he, Mick Hyam? He was the one who kept them going forward close to the Dewsbury Rams line with 2 tries, 22 for the season. You feel for him.
He's an outstanding talent, and when they got to go forward, it showed that players like they had there are dangerous.
Stephen Russell there, the chairman of the Northern Ford Dealers Advertising Association, presenting those players with those medals. But there is no consolation for a loser on a day like this. It's been very warm out there as well. We've talked about the mistakes, but it has been warm.
Has been warm as well as greasy, which would have contributed to the amount of mistakes that were made. But in saying that, I thought that a lot of that was forced errors, not just straight drops. And you have to say that the best team on the day did win.
Here they come. The Rams, the rampant Rams today, and the winning Dewsbury Rams led by Nathan Graham, once a Bradford Bull, now a Dewsbury Ram, and in his first season as the captain of the club, he is the one who will lift the Northern Ford Premiership trophy. Passed to him now by Stephen Russell. It's Dewsbury's.
Well done, Grash. Now this victory for Dewsbury today not only proves that they're the most consistently best team in the competition, it proves that they were the team that could perform on the big occasion, and they did it twice this year in the Trans-Pennine Cup and now in the grand final.
And to think they lost 12 months ago, it just shows maybe that players do get their just desserts if they keep on trying.
Well, I'm especially pleased for Nathan. He's had some disappointments in finals in his career, and to come away with 2 trophies in a year, it's great to see.
So he won the championship back in 1973, but that meant a lot to their players in those days. Alan Agar, who is here today, and how appropriate that his son Richard should be the match winner.
Yes, as I said, it wasn't the prettiest drop goal that you've ever seen, but I'm sure it was sweet when they saw it sail between the posts.
Well, there's a touch of symmetry about this, because last season Hunslet lost their first match at home in the playoffs, just as Dewsbury lost at home to Leigh. They then went on and beat Featherstone, just as Dewsbury beat Featherstone, and now they have the victory. And there is Richard Agar.
And the 1-point margin again in the grand final. The fans couldn't ask for any more than that.
OK, let's hear from Paul Terzis, the Leigh coach, with Chris Cooper.
Paul, commiserations. You clawed your way back into the game, but you didn't quite have enough in the end.
Yeah, exactly. It just shows the commitment and character of our players. We come up with some errors that proved costly in the end. Full credit to Dewsbury. They were here last year and they lost by a similar scoreline. So, in the end, it was a great game of rugby league, and the side that made the most of its opportunities won the game.
You started very slowly. Do you think nerves got to your players?
Oh yeah, we probably didn't play to our normal game plan early on in the game, and we had to come from behind. So I thought in the end we'd still come through with the goods, but unfortunately it didn't happen. The support here today from our supporters was fantastic. The league deserved to be in a higher league, and whether it's next year or the year after, I guarantee you we'll be there.
Paul, thank you for speaking to us.
Well, Paul Terzis, you can feel for him. Strong words and brave forecast maybe about Leigh one day getting back to the top. But it's all about Neil Kelly today. His brother Andy, of course, coached at Wakefield and lost his job earlier this season. The coaches get the knocks, but on days like this they get the praise as well, Matthew.
Yeah, and I'm very pleased for him. Now, the injustice of it all is that the elation of winning just doesn't quite last as long as the disappointment and the sting of losing. So I'm sure that they'll enjoy it tonight, but I'm sure the Leigh players will be thinking about this game a lot longer than the Dewsbury guys.
Nice to see Ray Abbey there in the shot as well, who's given great service to Dewsbury over many, many years. The other irony today is that Leigh beat Dewsbury in both league matches and in the first playoff match, but when it's come to cup competitions, Dewsbury won in the Trans-Pennine against them 10-6, 10-8, and they've beaten them by a single point again today. Only 3 points between them in 2 matches.
Well, it just shows how closely matched they were. And again, it probably shows the experience of the Dewsbury team. The players in their half were able to get control of their game, whereas I'd have to say today the Leigh players, as the coach pointed out, probably just played a little away from what they prepared to do, and it proved costly.
Let's hear now then from Richard Agar, the match winner, and the coach Neil Kelly down on the pitch.
Neil, that was very, very tense, those last few minutes.
Yeah, the bit 2 was not very good for my heart, really, but when it comes out like that, then you maybe don't mind.
What do you think of that fella's kick in the final couple of minutes?
Oh, the drop goal. Oh, it was like listening to a symphony. It would be absolutely superb.
Makes up for last year, I guess, this.
Yeah, and it's a bit strange winning it with a drop goal after losing it with a drop goal last year, but I think overall we deserved it, and the players have deserved it over the season.
Do you enjoy that today, Richard?
Yeah, again, pace of the game just passed us by in no time, and thought there were about 10 minutes left when the kick went over, and we looked up and that was basically it. There were a minute left. It was like tremendous pace of the game, and all credit to Leigh. They're a fantastic side, but we had all the motivation we needed this week after some of the stuff, press comments, what's going on.
Last year's totally forgotten now, is it?
Totally, yeah. I think it shows what a good side we really are to back it up by finishing top of the pile and winning it again and coming back to take the victory. It's a great feeling.
They came back at you very strongly in the second half, didn't they? Did you think, here we go again?
Well, it was a game, you know, it were end-to-end stuff, and when they scored the try with 10 minutes left, we had to dig really, really deep. Fortunately, there's some tough characters on our side, and we come up with the goods.
OK, well done. Enjoy the night.
Thanks very much. Well done.
Like listening to a symphony, said Neil Kelly. Well, it's Dewsbury who have certainly made music today. Where do all these babies come from on cup final days?
They're a fertile group of people, aren't they, rugby league players these days?
They're lovely scenes here at Gig Lane. I think this was the perfect setting as well for a match. It's got a real rugby league feel about it here. The fans have come across the Pennines from Dewsbury to join in this celebration. They've waited 27 years to see a captain of theirs hold this cup aloft, although they won the Trans-Pennine Cup, of course, earlier this season. But to win the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final today is fabulous for these Dewsbury supporters. And just look at the happy faces and look at the old Dewsbury shirts in there as well. When I first started watching them many years ago against the likes of Bradford Northern, those were the shirts that they were wearing. Well, there'll be more interviews coming up for you. Analysis from Peter Rowe and from David Hume. But that comes immediately after this very short break.